Interesting. Okay, well, let's get into it. I'm kind of excited about this.
Guess what? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Semi-Bookish podcast, Adrian District Library's podcast. And guess what? We're just going to jump right into it. Grant, what are you reading, watching, playing, writing, doing? What have you done over the past week?
Over the past week? Oh, geez.
I feel like he's going to pull a list.
No, it's kind of the opposite. I've just kind of been boring for the past week or so. I haven't watched any movies. The only games I've played, like I'm going through each of the Doom games leading up to the new one.
The MMO?
No, Doom.
Oh, Doom.
Sorry. Yep.
The new Doom, yeah. Because the new one is what exactly? Like, what's it called?
It's like Doom: The Dark Ages.
Okay, yeah.
It's either Doom: The Dark Age or Doom: The Dark Ages. I can't remember exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I think I saw that somewhere. Question about Doom,
Yes.
actually.
It's the Dark Ages.
So,
Plural.
I know it's a first-person shooter, right? What's the general, what is Doom as a game franchise?
What is the plot here as fast as you can?
Or even just the setting of the world, or what makes it interesting as a game?
I mean, with the original games, there's not much plot to speak of, other than, the general premise, but the general premise is that there's, Mars has been colonized.
Sure.
Not topical at all.
Well, I mean, that's... Who's going to do that, anyway?
And while digging and exploring and stuff, they accidentally find a portal to hell. And
of course,
that's where you come in. A big, muscly man in a green suit.
Oh,
you're basically Chief from Halo.
Before
Master Chief.
Gotcha.
Before Master Chief existed, and you have to go and fight all these demons.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay, gotcha.
There's a lot of puzzle aspects. More so than the original ones.
Okay.
In the newer, rebooted franchise, they definitely try to get in some more lore.
Okay, sure.
In different ways, but...
Yeah.
Grant has until May 15th.
But before that, I have Civ 7 to look forward to. So.
Yeah, but he has until May 15th to catch up on the Doom games.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought you said Dune, because I was like, the MMO?
That is coming out soon.
That is coming out soon.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I almost got to do beta for that, but I backed out of it because I didn't think I would have enough time to actually dedicate myself to being a beta tester for Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah. That
Tony?
makes sense.
Tony!
Okay, so I am... All right, before I give you the list...
I think this will be the fastest we've ever done this.
Possibly, but before I give you the list of anime that I'm currently watching, I'm going to start with the game that I am playing. Mm. So I'm playing... I stayed up until 6 a.m. the other morning because I had all of Saturday and Sunday off, so it was my weekend off. And I just... All day Saturday, I watched all the anime that I will tell you about in a moment. And then at a certain point, I was like, I need a break. I'm going to try playing this stupid fighting game that I bought for $5 around the end of the year. Because
that's a problem.
Yeah, and it's... So I don't like fighting games. I'm terrible at Mortal Kombat. I'm terrible at... what's the other one? Soul something.
Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur, yeah. I'm terrible at...
I love Soul Calibur.
I love playing Soul Calibur, but I'm terrible at it.
I only know Yoda's in one of the games.
Yeah, that's the one I like playing. Soul Calibur's great, but again, I'm not good at it, so I just get frustrated and I don't play them. But when you say to me, you can play as Deku, and you can play as All Might, and you can play as... I'm sold. And then it's $5.
I did that with Soul Calibur 4 when it was for the GameCube.
Oh, yeah?
Because one of the characters that you could play as was Link.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. However, I actually never played as Link. There was this lady who had these Tanbas. And I played her instead because I was obsessed with her outfit.
Yep. No, yeah.
As a 12-year-old girl, I'm like, that outfit's great. I love it. She looks like Jasmine. So I'm like...
Yeah, no. So I love... It's an oddly absorbing game, despite how really simple it is. First of all, the fight mechanics are terrible.
Right.
Explain to me, anyone who knows anything about my hero. So, Aaron, explain to me why Red Riot and Kaminari are both better playable characters than Deku.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
If I had to explain it, it would probably be because if we're talking about lore here, they've had their quirk for longer than Deku has.
That's a good point.
So they have more, like, ideas of how to control it in a better manner in different fighting situations.
That's a good point.
Deku Izuku's kind of like a genius in the fact that, like, he can turn around and he can analyze something and come up with a plan and stuff.
Right, absolutely.
But I think if we're talking about in terms of, like, how the character is gonna, like, punch and their movesets and things like that.
Yeah. Which is all that matters in a fight.
Literally, Deku is not going to have the best moveset because his whole entire thing is punching the air.
And he's not All Might.
No, there's that. But All Might's moveset is also still just punching the air.
Exactly. And the thing about All Might...
Their movesets is kind of... So I'm going to use wrestling terms here.
Yeah.
They have a very bland moveset. I kind of equate... the All Might and Deku moveset to something a la, like, John Cena now in his prime, like, as he's retiring, he has the exact same, like, 5 move set where he just does the exact 5 moves over and over again, and then boom, he wins.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Deku and All Might, as opposed to where you have Kaminari and
Kirishima?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kirishima, their moveset is more a la somebody who has had time to curate and hone and train their thing and go like, oh, I can't just... Well, Kirishima could just, like, deck somebody, but, like, if you're, like, Kaminari, you can't exactly just deck someone. You're a tiny little string bean child who looks like a sickly Victorian boy about to die. You can't exactly punch someone and have it work.
Yeah.
You need to be able to turn around and think kind of smart and be able to just kind of go, oh, I might punch the ground instead and send electric shocks to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never played the new Soul Calibur with those characters. I'm just...
So it's not Soul Calibur. The game is called My Hero One's Justice.
Oh, yeah,
By the way,
me about that one.
Terrible title. I hate it. There's a sequel, and I am waiting for it to go on sale.
So it's like all the Naruto fighting games.
Basically, yeah. It's that kind of thing. It's fun, but the fact that I stayed up till 6 a.m. was a total surprise. It was dumb. And then I was playing yesterday or Sunday a lot too, so it's a fun game.
All right, continue.
So that's what I'm doing gaming-wise. I am currently reading still, for fiction, I'm reading The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, it's really good. It's going places. I still am kind of like at that point where I'm like, okay, if this author isn't really good with the twist ending, I'm going to be very mad about this book because it's basically just a slow process of basically the psychotherapist figuring out that, so basically the person I'm investigating, who I'm trying to figure out how she thinks and why she's quiet, she had every reason, I think, to murder her husband. Like, it's sort of like... It's unfolding in a way that's not as satisfactory as I would hope for, because it's not thrilling in the way that you think a thriller would be. But, like, it's not Gone Girl, for example, do you know what I mean?
It's
but at the same
psychological as opposed to being like,
Yeah, so it does a really good job with the psychological aspects of it, but I have this feeling that, like, because he's such a big Agatha Christie fan, the author, I'm like, the twist is either going to be so good that I'm going to be like, yeah, or it's going to be so bad that the 1-star review I read from a famous actor, I'm going to agree with. So I'm hoping it's not that, but you never really know. So here's the quick list of anime that I'm currently watching because I'm doing a shonen research project because I can't draw, but I'm writing my own, Americanized version of a shonen. So, to do that, I'm currently rewatching My Hero because I need relentless hope, and My Hero just does that. I started Black Clover. I'm 7 episodes into Black Clover. It is so interesting. I
love Black Clover.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Is that the pirate one, or is that...
That's One Piece.
Yeah.
No, not One Piece. Maybe I'm thinking of Black Lagoon. Is that a anime?
No.
I don't think so.
Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Are you thinking of Black Sails, the pirate show?
No, no, this is an anime.
Okay.
I'll think of it.
It is an anime title, but it's not about pirates.
I am 6 episodes into Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, I love
which
that
I am loving also. It's so kooky for a 90s anime, but it's also really smart.
But that's why you like it so much.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Wait till you get to the tournament part.
Don't tell me anymore.
I won't tell you anymore.
Good.
When I watched it, I will say I had a big giant anime crush on the Tornado Man. You'll know exactly who it is when he comes up because, oh my god, just...
Yeah, no, I really, honestly, out of all of the protagonists that I'm watching right now, Yusuke is currently, like, top.
Yusuke, yeah.
He's so interesting to me. But this next show, I'm 7 episodes into, Jujutsu Kaisen. When I tell you, I am so in love with that main character that when a certain moment happened a couple of episodes ago, I was like, if you do not fix this by the end of this next episode, I am not watching the show ever again because I needed that main character so bad. Thankfully, things resolved themselves because it is a shonen. The main character can't just die in episode 5. Like, you just can't do that. But I loved that the show was willing to go there and then found an in-world reason that they didn't have to explain because they already had sort of set all of that up. That's the thing I'm enjoying most about Jujutsu Kaisen, honestly, is the moments of subtlety. They understand that their audience is shonen, like, that people know what they're watching, right? So they're not ham-fisted, like, feeding you everything in the same way that My Hero does. Like, I think My Hero is a great starter at shonen, like, for people who don't have any awareness of that. And I think it's intentional, whereas Jujutsu Kaisen is like, okay, you've seen all of the shonen from all of the decades. Here's one that you didn't think about. And it's just like, oh, yeah, the world building is fascinating. The Jujutsu sorcerers, like, as a concept. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, this is Bleach with good storytelling. Because everyone knows that the biggest problem with Bleach is that the storytelling is just terrible. It's slow, there's too many fillers, but the concept is brilliant. And so I'm like, this right here is what I wanted from Bleach, and I'm getting it, so I'm happy. So, there's me. Also, the ending song for season 1 is the coolest concept and also the coolest song. Like, Lost in Paradise is brilliant, but the concept of turning all of the characters into these, like, hip-hop fans and they're breakdancing as they go on the way to the grocery store is like, yes!
Sounds like straight out of JoJo or something.
Yeah, no, it's really, really fun. So, yeah, that's what my entertainment has been lately. Erin?
Hi.
Hi.
It was an accident.
Who did you kill?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, not anyone yet.
Calm down, FBI.
We have Lime.
So, I turned around and... So, Saturday, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a big wrestling fan. So...
What? You? No.
Yeah, me? Not at all. It's totally hyperbolic to my whole entire personality until you get to know me.
True.
But the Royal Rumble, which is like one of the big pay-per-views, happened Saturday. And so for those who need an explanation of what the Royal Rumble is, there are 30 men and or women, depending on which version of the match you watch. There are 30 people, all of them in a increment of, I think, 5 minutes, maybe 90 seconds. I don't exactly remember what the exact increment is. But like every couple minutes or so, somebody new will come out to the ring. And so this is just like, so 1 and 2 start in the ring and then one person comes out every like couple minutes or so.
Yeah.
And it does not end until you get to like number 30.
Oh.
And so the goal is the people in the ring, you have to throw them over the top rope. And both the person's feet who gets thrown over, their feet have to touch the floor. If they get thrown out of the ring, their feet touch the floor, they're out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, there are ways around that. If you go through the middle or the bottom rope, you're still in and you can do things.
Yeah.
People have been thrown out and only like one foot has touched the floor, so they'll like do some weird like magic thing to get themselves back in the ring. It's like a literal whole entire thing.
That's fun.
But the goal is whoever is the last one standing in the ring gets to challenge. Either they get their pick of, because there's 2 different brands, so there's like Raw and SmackDown brands. Mm-hmm. Both brands have their own like top tier title. So whoever wins this Rumble match gets to pick which person they're gonna fight at the big giant like WrestleMania in like April.
Oh, cool.
Which is their big giant. It's kind of like a season finale almost.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's the big giant year. Like, it's the culmination of all storylines. So they get to pick who they want to fight, and they'll be the main event. So they're, like, the last match of the evening is that match.
Okay, yeah.
And so there's a women's match and a men's match, and you kind of get to do that and it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, no.
And so while I'm doing that, I need something to do while I'm sitting there watching people come out to the ring in 2-minute increments. So I decided to start playing Pokemon Sword.
Of course
as
you did.
I'm watching. And so that has been my entire personality for 2 days.
Nice.
I'm on like the 3rd gym right now.
Okay.
I'm just playing through it. I've never actually played Pokemon Sword before up until this point.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm having fun with it. I will say, though, there is a lot of hand-holding, a lot of it. And I will say my one gripe about it compared to... Because I started playing Violet, and I started playing some of the older ones.
Yeah.
So I've played, like, almost every single one. Is that this one particularly... I don't know who the bad guys are supposed to be right now. Like, you're doing the gym challenge, and I don't know who the bad guy is actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, we have this, like, Team Yell, but, like, they don't seem really like bad guys because everybody's really wholesome, and I hate it. Like, you know, like, how in, like, the, like, beginning Pokemon's, like, up until, like, maybe, like, the 3DS ends, there's usually some type of, like, bad guy trying to do something.
Presumably.
And you run into them right after, like, maybe, like, your first gym or something, and you're like, oh my god, I have to stop them, and so you're going through while you still have your rival, and there's, like, kind of, like, a thing.
Yeah.
No. I'm on the 3rd gym, and I can't tell you who the bad guy is at this point.
That's interesting.
There is really no bad guy, and I'm like, well, okay. That's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of why I stopped playing Paper Mario, because it was just a series of, like, puzzles, and I'm like, this is fun, except my Mario fights Bowser. Where's Bowser?
No,
I want to fight Bowser.
I started playing, when I played, I have Pokemon Violet, not Scarlet, but, like, I have Violet, there is a bad guy. Like, you meet them, like, after the second go-around.
Yeah.
Of, like, going through, like, the gyms and stuff, but you still meet them, and you still know that there's something happening that you have to stop and everything like that, and so there's an actual storyline that you can follow.
Right.
This one, it just feels like, okay, just go get all the gym badges, have fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm also still playing Sims 4.
Of course.
Because of course I am, right now. So, I'm doing, like, a legacy. It's really long, and I don't know why I decided to make it long. I really should have just made it shorter, but it's fine. My character's currently... So she was a teen, and she graduated high school early.
Yeah.
She went through college early. She had a boyfriend the entire time, and he decided he was mad at her every single Saturday because she couldn't take him to prom. Not that she could go anyways, because she doesn't go to high school. Because she couldn't invite him. It's like a whole entire thing.
Okay.
It's a glitch in the game. I can't get rid of it. It's just there.
Sure.
So she graduated, and now she is a mad scientist, and they're married now, and he's a conservationist, but he used to be a lifeguard. It's like a whole entire thing.
Interesting career trajectory.
I was just thinking that. I was like,
well, they
so
live in
you
the
went
island
from
world.
water to plants? Sure. Okay.
No, so like there's an island in the game called Sulani, and it's part of the Island Living expansion pack.
Okay.
And the island, it's like a 3-island kind of thing. It's kind of like you're living in like a Samoa or like a Fiji or like a Hawaii kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the islands are, how do I want to say it? They're like...
What?
They're like,
There's a camera in this room, and I just realized it.
Hi! Anyways, they're like, it's polluted, and so the conservationist career goes into either marine biologist or a charity, kind of like a charity organizer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where you either get money to help with making the island better, or if you're a marine biologist, you work hard into cleaning up the islands, and it leads to, if you're doing this correctly, the islands will get better, and then turtles come back, and you can watch like little turtle races and like all this
that's
stuff.
Adorable.
So I'm trying to like kind of make it cute and fun and wholesome until I ruin everybody's lives with the teen pregnancy next round.
I mean,
so we'll see what happens.
It is Sims.
Yeah, it's Sims, and then also Sims 2 and Sims 1 got re-released, so I'm obsessed.
Love it.
Were they like remastered and stuff?
No, just re-released.
Okay.
They've been updated for modern CPUs, but you know what's really fun?
Oh.
I'm also reading a lot of fan fiction.
I was wondering if you. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I gave Tony and Grant a list of fan fiction terms that I don't know how many they know about. Some of these are safe for work, some of these are not, so choose wisely. But we're going to talk about fan fiction terms today.
Describe slash fiction, please.
Slash fiction?
No, I'm joking.
It's gay.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, because in publishing spaces, fan fiction just means it's like, or not fan, slash fiction means that it's like, I think the current going rate for slash fiction is 1,000 words or less, and they would prefer you to do less.
So that's a drabble.
For a story. In
fanfiction term, that's called a drabble.
Okay.
So you just kind of drabble, like
right.
you dabble in it.
Yes, a drabble is a piece of writing that is exactly 100 words long, although it is commonly used to refer to any short fanfiction.
Yes.
Kind of cool. Okay.
If it's longer than a drabble, it turns into a one-shot.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking...
But slash fiction is... So you have your terms, and if you're looking at terms about shipping, you have...
shipping.
Het, which is hetero.
Yep.
Slash is technically...
Gay. And then
but if you add femme to it, it's femme slash, which is,
lesbians.
Or you can call it the Japanese term, which is yaoi and yuri. You can call it those terms well. When you're talking about more anime fandom spaces, those terms are correct and can be used. But if you're looking at things like Vampire Diaries, Twilight, anything that's like more Western, you use slash femme slash. And it comes from the fact that when you did slash in a fan fiction to determine the what is it called? The couple.
Yes.
In old times, this is not correct now, but in the olden days when it was first thing, because I think AO3 kind of killed it by accident.
Oh.
In terms of when you looked up a slash like couple, it would put whoever's name alphabetically goes first in the slash. However, in old like fanfics, whoever was, so this is in terms of gay, ships mostly, but whoever was the first person mentioned is the top of the couple, and then whoever is the second name is the bottom of the couple.
Please explain to us what that means, Aaron.
No.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just looking at some of these and I'm like, so there is a term for my...
yes.
For my Deku Bakugo Todoroki, like, go to college and
OT3.
become a 3. Yeah, exactly.
OT3
yeah.
college OT3 college AU.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it would be. And I kind of love that. So AU, when you say AU, because
alternate
I know that
universe.
means alternate universe, yes.
So that can mean anything, honestly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Alternate universe could be, like, for example, if Deku doesn't get a quirk, he can turn around and, let's say he gets a different one. Like, let's say he was born with one. That's one of my favorite tropes, actually. Is
Yeah?
He gets one by himself.
Nice.
There's literally fan fiction where he turns basically into Deadpool. It's kind of hilarious.
That's fun.
It's honestly one of my favorite tropes for him, along with one where they give him the Sixth Sense. That's also a really good one that I should send you.
That's fun.
But alternate universes, so he has that. That's also another, that's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Another alternate universe is if he is in a fantasy world, like the fantasy kind of like drawings that Horikoshi did of like the barbarian.
Oh, yes, and then it's at the end of that one season. That's my favorite.
That's an AU.
Yeah.
That is an alternate universe.
Yeah, it's really cool.
If they went into cyberpunk, that's an AU.
Yeah.
If they were time traveling, that is an AU.
Yeah.
But if it's something that has to do with the canon universe and something is just changed, the only thing that's really changed is the fact that the character might make a different choice. That's not AU anymore. That's called canon divergence.
Yeah, I was seeing that
There's
right there.
a different...
Yeah, divergent, yeah.
It's still technically alternate universe, but it's mostly, we kind of take that out when we
because it's kind of obvious that
it's just kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Because it's technically still alternate universe, but it's so just like slim that we just call it divergence.
So something I noticed when I was looking at one of these is, and I know that this is something that has come up a lot in the last decade, as more and more fan fiction writers, or like, for example, N.K. Jemisin did a whole article basically where she was like, stop shaming people for writing fan fiction. Oh, and by the way, me, the New York Times bestseller who has 3 Hugos and consecutive Hugos, I also write fan fiction. Yeah. No, I'm not telling you my name. You're gonna have to find it for yourself. But yeah, so like, there's been a lot more like front-facing. Like, I think Casey McQuiston also said that they had written fan fiction. Like,
Julie Soto's written fan fiction.
Yeah, everyone knows
Quite
about...
literally, one of her Hermione fan fictions is coming out later this year.
Everyone knows about, She Who Shall Not Be Named, Cassandra Clare. I love reading her books, but I understand why fanfiction people have complicated... Yeah, but my question is, think certain things have certain terms that were fanfiction... I would probably argue they were fanfiction exclusive, at least as far as I was concerned, have become mainstream in the 10 years. So, like, shipping is one of them. What was the other one that I saw
shipping
here?
Is definitely something that is more popular now to refer to.
Yeah.
So, fun fact with shipping. Shipping.
Canon kind of was always like a thing. But
Canon is the new version of that. It's where basically, like, so if you take the series, which will not be named because of the turf, who will not be named. I'm going to mention it anyways, but there's a giant Marauders fandom.
Yeah, oh, exactly, yes.
There's like a whole entire set of lore that people have created, and it has nothing to do with the canon lore of Harry Potter. That lore that everyone is just kind of automatically accepting about the Marauders is called fanon.
Right, which is different from headcanon, which is the author's personal... I think this is how it would have... Not the author of the series, but the fan fiction author's idea of what the canon could be or should be or might be or whatever. The other... What's the term here? Oh, yeah. So there's another one, like OTP is one that I've seen a lot more.
And so
one
here's
true pairing.
The thing. With OTP, you do not need to have one OTP over everybody, over, like, every single ship. You can have one OTP for one, like item, like one like media, and then you can have an OTP for another part of media. Right. Like, it is not the same.
It's just like one true pairing for the story that you're telling. Yeah, exactly.
I will say also, fun fact, so shipping. Shipping literally came from the fact that the ship names, like the pairing names, used to be, in old fanfiction terms, used to be like literal ship names. They used to go SS this.
That's SS brilliant. That. I love that.
The easiest way I can think of that.
That's fun.
What is the...
I just want to buy a boat and call it the SS Dekugo. And I know that's wrong. It's not what they call it. It's not Dekugo, but I like the way it sounds.
So, for example, if you want to turn around, and I'm going to go Yu-Gi-Oh! For a second here.
Ooh.
If you want between Seto Kaiba and Yami Yugi, it used to be called Pride Shipping, so you do the SS Pride Shipping.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Pokemon pairings still use the SS.
Of course they do, because Pokemon fans are
let's see if
fearless
I can find.
And consistent.
I found a very specific one that I wonder if you're familiar with.
Yeah.
EWE. And how would you describe that?
Can I just have the name? For a second. Oh, it's epilogue? What epilogue? So, that is what that means. So, EWE is, I'm going to say it in the most easiest terms so people can understand. It's where if they turn around and get to the end of Harry Potter, there's that epilogue where Harry goes off with Ginny and they're letting their kids go off to Hogwarts for like 19 years later or whatever.
Ron is wearing a weird fat suit.
Yeah. EWE is in EWE in fan fiction is epilogue. What epilogue? It's where the fan fiction completely ignores that epilogue. That epilogue does not exist.
So is it specifically in reference to Harry Potter?
It used to be, yes, but it has
people hate that epilogue.
It has been expanded into other things. So, for example, there's a Teen Wolf movie. In that Teen Wolf movie, spoiler alert, so if you're wanting to watch that movie, walk away now. But in that movie, one of the main characters, Derek Hale, dies. And so, technically, this movie could be considered canon.
Right.
We don't care. We don't want it to be canon.
You just kicked it out.
So, movie? What movie? Epilogue? What epilogue? We don't use that. So, it's, for example, like, at the end of an anime or something, you go, what is this? I don't want it there, and then you can get rid of it. I don't even know which one you just pointed at.
I'm ecstatic. The flanneled one. It is a term specifically for George Lucas, who is also known as GL. Also known as the man in plaid.
I think this one, the big one, comes from the Live Journal because it had some Star Wars specific terms.
Yeah. So okay. So I guess the part of my question is because another one that's been like that I'm seeing that has also been recently sort of running around in romance circles is like publishing romance circles, cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls?
Yeah, that's a big,
Peter Parker is a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, exactly. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the term himbo technically come from fanfiction?
Yes.
That's what I thought. And that's another one that's just been, out there.
So, a cinnamon roll, for those who need to know what the definition of a cinnamon roll is. Cinnamon roll...
It doesn't mean that we want to take Tom Holland away from Zendaya and cook him and eat him. That's not what that means.
I believe the cinnamon roll meme, because there's also a different word for that.
Oh.
There's a cinnamon roll, and why? No, I want this. Why are they making me do things? So it was a Tumblr thing at some point.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh.
And so the basic thing is, looks like a cinnamon roll is a cinnamon roll. Looks like a cinnamon roll could kill you. Looks like they could kill you is a cinnamon roll. Looks like they could kill you. Could kill you.
Yeah.
And then cinnamon roll. Sin as
S-I-N?
in S-I-N.
Yeah.
And it came from Tumblr. Sorry, I'm looking it up at the exact same time that I'm typing. Yeah, it's a Tumblr meme.
Okay.
So a cinnamon roll is somebody, so I would say something like Peter Parker or Deku. So people who are very just happy-go-lucky. They always have the brightest smile on their face. They can turn around and they can brighten everyone's day. They are like the sunshine personality hire of any type of workplace that you go for.
Yeah.
They are the one who is positive at every single turning point. And if something bad happens to them, oh my god, the world is ending because, oh my god, who touched the cinnamon roll?
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the main point.
Yeah.
A cinnamon roll is somebody who is more so the exact opposite. So if we have Deku as the cinnamon roll, as the happy-go-lucky character, the cinnamon roll it's not Bakugo.
No.
It's not. It's usually Shinso.
Yeah, or oh gosh, what's the character that's constantly depressed, but also can turn his body into as many different things that he eats. Like if he eats, what is it?
I feel like I have half of his superpowers.
Yeah, you're right. What's the little calamari? If he eats calamari, then he can create tentacles.
Oh,
yeah.
With his quirk, and I can't remember his name, but would he be considered
no.
a sin? Okay, no. No, I'm missing.
So basically, cinnamon roll as a person is usually so attractive that they make you want to sin.
Huh.
Oh, that's Aizawa.
So that's why I said Shinzo Hitoshi's also in that list.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're the same character, but just different ages.
Yeah.
Deku is your cinnamon roll who is so pure that they're just really, really cute.
Yeah, or Yayorozu could be a cinnamon roll, depending on... Because
she looks like a cinnamon roll could kill you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yes, because she's...
So you have that, and then Bakugo, it looks like they could kill you, would kill you.
Because, well, yes.
Yes.
I mean, he refers to everyone by the B word, and it's not the one that we use to talk about female dogs.
So he's not Aaron Paul.
No. So my larger question with all of that was, because I've seen think pieces, articles, I've heard people talk about it in rather animated ways. How do you feel, or how do you feel that like fan fiction circles are beginning to feel about the popularizing of fan fiction terms when we're discussing published work? Like when editors literally will say when they announce a new book, like we saw this on Tor.com a couple of years ago, and there was a major freak out because people were like, wait, we're publishing a professional author and we're using fan fiction tropes to sell the book? What is happening? And like, how do you feel about it? And also, how do you feel that
as personally,
fan fiction people are?
Personally, to be honest, just selling it as fan fiction tropes, I think it's a little bit tacky.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
In the fact that like, it feels like if. I'm going to use Gen X boomer terms for this.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like a boomer got on, like, Tumblr and then went, the young kids are looking at this, and so it's the old guy walking up with the skateboard going, how do you do, fellow kids? To try to entice the new audience in.
The music band.
But honestly,
it's giving youth pastor actually wants to be teenager.
Yeah.
So still acts like a teenager.
It's giving corporate media really wants to try to interact with the things that are going on behind the scenes, and it's not really working out well in their favor. To be completely honest, I still don't think it's working out really well in their favor.
No. You have like a hit like after for like 1 year, and then after that, nothing.
Fandom spaces, honestly, could care less.
Interesting. Okay.
The fact, like, yeah, we think it's tacky, like it's there.
Yeah.
But like,
because it's not really affecting fan fiction so much. That's actually really interesting. Yeah.
I will say the one thing that is affecting fandom spaces that fandoms are still having an issue with is not the fact that they're using fanfiction tropes to describe things. It's that a lot more people now are being exposed to fanfiction tropes or fandom aspects. And the people who are coming in aren't learning the fandom etiquette.
Right.
And using the fandom etiquette correctly.
Yeah.
And so some of those things, so you have all those tropes in front of you for different fan fictions.
Yeah.
One of the big things about fandom shipping is if you don't like it or you don't like the ship, don't read it. Don't look at it.
Yeah, just go.
Scroll along, don't care.
Yeah.
The big thing now, and this is especially in the age of like the really short attention span, short videos, things like that.
Yeah. There's
a big bully culture that's coming out of this. Mm-hmm. In the fact that like, if somebody sees something you don't like, they don't. And this is mostly younger kids, so those younger kids are going to grow older and they're going to learn those fan fiction things.
Sure, yeah.
Great. But, like, a lot of those people, and I can't tell you if they are little kids or if they're, like, those people who are on the internet but just don't know how to actually have decorum when they're talking to people on the internet, is they'll see a ship that they don't like, and then they'll comment on the video or on the fan fiction thing.
Why is Dick Grayson with Jason Todd?
No.
That is not my, whatever.
No, they'll just respond with, well, I disagree with your ship, but I respect it. And I'm like, you don't need to write that down. Just keep going. Yeah. Like, honestly, if you didn't like it, just keep going. Like, you don't need to spend 2 minutes of your day typing that, like, you don't like something, but you respect their opinion on a video. And so you have a ship video, and then you have, like, 1,000 comments, all just kind of not really saying the same thing, but it's mostly the exact same sentiment.
So it would be like, oh, cool, if I'm a fanfiction author, oh my gosh, people really like my OT3 from My Hero, like, they really like it. Yeah. And then I get on and find out that it's 1,000 comments of people literally saying, I don't like the concept of this, but I respect your right to write it. And it's like, I don't have a hit fanfic.
That is
I just have a bunch of jerks.
That is literally it.
Yeah, like, that's fair.
You can, in the past, that used to be a thing, like, that you used to have ship wars between characters. Mm-hmm. But honestly, like, when you have it in, like, a forum space, like a fanfic.net space, a forum space, you can't just turn around and say, like, I don't like it, but I respect your opinion. You can say that, but, like, then you're going to get into a debate with people.
And it's going to waste a lot of, like, the space that should be reserved for the story.
No, so, like, in a forum, you actively have to seek out, like, that forum to go talk about.
Right, yes.
In this current, like, TikTok age, like, things like that,
Wattpad,
when you have the short video, Wattpad doesn't even do that.
Oh.
But, like, in the short video format thing, you just see people, like, who will say that, And then somebody goes, well, why not? And, like, they'll ask your opinion. But they don't have an opinion outside of just this.
Yeah, right.
It's, like, a whole entire thing.
Yeah.
You also have people who, like, if the ship is, like, kind of problematic in a way, because that exists. The rules of the internet...
Like, if you had, like, All Might with Deku...
The rules
that would just be... Yeah, right, yeah.
The rules of the internet exist. Do we accept that as a ship? Not really, because that's wrong.
It's gross. Yeah, exactly.
But, like, people have a right to write it.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
I just scroll on and I don't read that
and I
shit.
want to read it, yeah,
it's
exactly.
a thing.
Yeah.
But people will, like, just go nuts. Like, it's, like, the worst thing on the internet. And they just expend all this energy and all this time. And I think if people just spent less time trying to police others in terms of what they're reading or what they're writing in terms of fan fiction...
Yeah.
They would have a much better time being in a fandom space.
Yeah.
Honestly, so what I do as a fandom person is if it's a ship that I don't really care about, I ignore it and I just look up a different ship.
Yeah. Right.
I just go look at other things.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. So do you have a... I'm not going to say one favorite because I feel like asking one favorite, that's ridiculous. What are some of your favorites or, like, go-to...
Tropes?
Tropes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wump.
Because you like your characters to suffer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
So Wump is... Yeah. So this is part of my things. So Wump is... So if I'm doing, like, superhero stuff...
Yeah.
Wump is my favorite thing in terms of character tropes. And it's basically hurt, no comfort. So the character does not get any comfort. They might get comfort later on, but usually your character is thrown into some type of traumatic experience.
Yeah.
In terms of, if we're looking at, like, Spider-Man, this is something like, in the first movie when Peter gets, like, the building dropped on him.
In Homecoming or the... Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
And he has to lift it up all by himself.
Yeah.
One of the Wump tropes is, like, maybe later on, and this is, like, if, like, all the Avengers are together and it's a happy family, like, afterwards, like, they get back together after Civil War. It's, like, a whole entire thing.
Sure, yeah.
But, like, let's say Peter's helping them and he accidentally gets thrown back into that type of situation again.
Yeah.
And so now you have him, who is possibly traumatized, maybe having a panic attack because, oh my god, the building is back over top of me again, and he's trying to get a hold of everybody, but everybody's super busy with all the fighting going on, so they're making him wait.
Yeah.
And now he's sitting there, and he's just like, oh my god, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it. And so they finally, like, lift the building off of him because the Hulk is there, or it's Captain America. I don't know who it is. It's somebody lifted the building
Somebody lifts
off.
the building, yeah.
Somebody lifted back on him, and oh my god, look, his leg is punctured with, like a pipe or something.
Gotcha.
Oh my god, Peter, why didn't you tell us this sooner? And he's like, because you guys... And it's Peter going... Because you guys were all busy and I didn't want to, like, turn around and, like, say something.
Yeah.
Because you guys were fighting it. That was way more important than me and being under the building.
Yeah.
I'm fine. They're like, shut up. No, you're not. And so, like, that's kind of how Wump works in terms of, like, the character, like, goes through a traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really good cathartic way to, like, explore, like, how the character would be in this type of situation.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, like, Deku... If you want to use that, Deku was quirkless and probably went through a whole crap ton of bullying before he went to... Yes, like, it's canon. Yeah. So what if we took that a step further, and let's say we're sitting there in the middle of the class in the dorms, after we've all moved to the dorms, and we see somebody who's quirkless and they've committed suicide or something, correct?
Mm.
And so now he's listening to his classmates talk about it, and he has to come to the terms with the fact that, like, they didn't know he was quirkless before this.
Oh.
And so some of them might have, like, horrible takes on the fact that the kid who died is quirkless.
Sure.
Now he has to go through the trauma of, oh, my teammates would not probably be as nice to me if they learned that I had been quirkless before.
Right.
And it leads to, like, a whole entire thing.
Yeah.
And so there's, like, a whole bunch of that. Or, like, what if Bakugo got abducted again, but this time nobody's going to save him?
Right.
That's a traumatic experience. How is he going to deal with that?
Yeah.
So that's one trope that I really like, because I think, like, it's a really interesting way to explore how characters would deal with certain types of trauma that they've already been through. Another, like, type of thing that I like is I like canon divergence.
Okay, sure.
I'm really big on canon divergence.
Okay.
In the sense where, so, like, I use this all the time. So with Deku, he doesn't have the quirk. He has a completely different quirk. Mm-hmm. Maybe he turned around and, let's say after he punched Todoroki's lights out and broke his arm during the,
Sports festival?
Yeah, he lost his arm or something like that.
Sure.
And you have to take that and you have to run that around because now he's lost his arm. And how's he going to get an arm? Well, there's this lovely little lady over here in this from the sports festival, Hatsume Mei, who's big on building things. What if she builds him an arm?
Right. So
you can take that and you can run with that. You turn that with Harry Potter. Harry's now a Slytherin. How is he going to deal with that?
Right.
Or what if he turns around and in his 5th year he got expelled and now he has to come back to school and look, now because he was expelled, he has to get resorted. What if he ends up in Slytherin because he had to get resorted?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What if, there's, a whole bunch of things? Or, what if when Harry and Hermione saved Sirius, they ended up capturing Peter Pettigrew, and now Sirius is not in jail or a wanted fugitive anymore? How is that going to affect the story?
Or a cool one could be, and if anyone actually writes fan fiction and wants to take this up, I don't care, take it. But, it'd be cool if, what if Anakin and the Emperor go to the opera, Anakin realizes right then and there, he really is a Sith Lord, and just kills him right in the opera. And then you think about the fallout, because Anakin's literally the biggest known Jedi.
I can bet you right now that there is a fanfiction that has been written about.
That would be brilliant.
It could be a Star Wars court drama almost.
Yeah, almost. Or it could be, I like the idea of sending Anakin on the run from the rest of the Jedi. The Jedi are going, literally Yoda's going, okay, all points bulletin out on Anakin Skywalker. Every Jedi who spots him, kill him on the spot. And
it's
what would Ahsoka do? Would Ahsoka just be he did what?
Those are some tropes that I like to look at all the time because those are interesting. Right now I'm
what if Ahsoka rejoined the Jedi instead of walking away from the Order? What if she was sure, Anakin, I'll rejoin, and went through the purge as his apprentice? That would be kind of a cool headcanon divergence.
For example, right now I'm reading Twilight fanfiction because of course I am. It's just my thing right now. So I have New Moon, AU, not really AU, canon divergence.
Yeah.
What if she turns around and after she's gone through her depression thing,
mm-hmm.
What if she doesn't go after Edward into Italy?
So at what point would you would it be because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
At what point would you diverge? Because you could diverge at the point where Alice shows up at the house and is
So there's multiple different fan fictions that have done this.
Yeah.
So if we turn around and let's say she decides, what if she goes to go jump off the cliff, because she wanted to go cliff diving or whatever. What if one of the wolves had been assigned to watch her that day? Alice can't see anything past the wolf. We know this.
Yeah.
So what if one of the wolves is just there? We don't see any, so she never sees that Bella jumps off the cliff.
Yeah.
Or what if instead of Jacob answering the phone, nobody answered the phone when Jacob was sitting there to talk to Edward?
Yeah.
What if because Alice didn't see it or whatever, because she didn't see it, how would the wolves deal with Victoria and the newborn army if it existed? From there,
sure.
Who would Bella end up with? Would she really end up with Jacob? Would she end up with one of the other wolves? Would she still go to Volterra anyways? There are some...
Would she lose her mind and end up with Mike because she wants to be a normal teenager?
Absolutely not. Possibly.
Nah, she'd end up with Jessica before she'd end up with Mike.
Everybody loves Mike.
There's different aspects of the things that she could do.
Fun.
What if Bella turns around and realizes that Edward was just being completely possessive over her and not letting her do anything, and she finds that abusive, so she decides that she's not going to go back to him anyways.
And
so she gets a backbone.
What if Jasper died in the war and Bella met Alice before she met Edward and was ooh.
That is also a thing. There is one where she ends up in a sandwich between Alice and Jasper, and then there's another... And then there's another version of the story where she ends up in a sandwich between Emmett and Rosalie instead.
I could see how that would work.
I know.
Because it gives the whole, like, Rosalie hates her thing a lot more, a different energy of, like, oh, yeah, I hate you because I'm in love with you. And it's like, what?
Yes. Rosalie and Bella is actually a really big ship.
That would be brilliant.
That is actually a really, really big ship in terms of...
Yeah, it's probably because, like, every lesbian that read Twilight was like, does she just like... But she likes Bella, doesn't she? Like...
No, so you have that. Or, like, what if instead of meeting Edward as her first Cullen, and I just read in one shot of this and I thought it was really adorable, what if she meets one of the other Cullens first? And so this one that I read recently was she meets Jasper first. Because he's sitting there at the lunch table, he's reading Wuthering Heights, which you know is Bella's favorite book.
Oh my god,
And so she sees it, and immediately, just like in a random fit of like impulsivity, goes up to him and starts asking him questions about the book. So like, because you could see Bella doing that. Yeah. And so she sits down and all of a sudden now she's talking to Jasper and now they're friends instead of her and Edward.
Yeah.
So what if that's like a whole entire thing? How would that pan out? What if Bella wasn't meant for Edward in the first place and she was meant for one of the other Cullens in the first place and that one was the single one?
I read this fascinating canon divergence back when Revenge of the Sith made everybody angry because they were like, this is what you gave us, George? I loved it because I watched it in the movie theater and I was fine, but I have grown increasingly irritated by that film. But I read this really fascinating canon divergence in which Padme survives and then goes to war against Anakin, like, as a spy. Like, she's like, I know it's you, and I'm taking you down. And then they have a confrontation at the end, and the author stopped writing the fanfic and never gave us an ending. And I was like... for years, I checked that site, and she never finished it. And I was like, but what happens? Like, it was, like, the way she wrote their, like, Padme's, like, flashbacks of memories of the two of them. I was like, someone call George. We need to refilm Attack of the Clones. This person knows what they're doing. And it was fascinating. Because Padme had this whole, like... Before the Clone Wars show came out, like, this author, like, wrote her this whole really cool history in the Clone Wars where she's, like, an active part of it. So she knows exactly what to do to take Darth Vader down, and she almost succeeds, but there's a final confrontation in which she tells everybody, leave it to me, and then that's it. And I was like, but does she confront it? Does he kill her? What happens? I was freaking out. So
I have more.
And I haven't been able to find it as an adult. Like, I've looked for it as an adult, and I cannot find it anywhere. So
I have more tags. So I'm just gonna quick shoot them at people. So one of my I'm gonna use some Batman tags for a minute because some of these are hilarious. So under Archive of Our Own, there's 648 works with this specific tag underneath, and I love the fact that it exists. And it's literally just called Tim Drake's Missing Spleen.
Meaning?
So, in the Batman comics, there's like a whole entire thing where Tim Drake loses his spleen because he goes after Batman dies, and it's because Tim was Robin, and then it's Dick Grayson as Batman at that time.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And then Dick gives Robin to Damian instead.
Yes.
And they're turning around and they think Tim's insane because he still thinks that Batman is still alive and he's leaving all these clues behind. And so they're like, oh my god, we should, like, sedate you or something. But, like, Tim is currently, like, the CEO or something of Wayne, Enterprises or something.
Interesting.
And so... Or, like, he does later on. Like, it's like
sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I could see that for Tim, actually.
But, like, the main thing is like, so Tim goes to look for Batman. I think this is actual, like, in, like, the comics or something. But, like, he goes to search for Batman, and he starts working with Ra's al Ghul.
Oh. Interesting.
Did you not know that this happened?
No. I'm going to have to... There's so much happening in Batman comics right now, because they've kind of splintered off into all these different places. They have, like, the Robin series, and, like... It's a whole thing. And I'm interested in seeing where it all goes, but there's... I don't read comics books very well, so I'm like, I don't want to read all of this. I mean, I want to read all of it, but it's like, it's going to take forever, so...
Yeah, it's like a whole entire thing.
That's hilarious. Tim Drake's Missing Spleen.
No, so the tag is basically like if they turn around and they like focus on the missing spleen aspect.
Like they like detect what happened to Tim Drake's missing spleen?
No, so like he continues working in he's working with the League of Assassins and he turns around. Yeah, so this is an actual comic book panel.
Oh, fine.
From Red Robin, I think number 5.
Okay.
So Bruce is lost in time. Tim's like certain that he's like Bruce is alive, and so he goes to find out where Bruce is. And Dick has kind of given Robin to Damien instead.
Yeah.
It's like a whole entire thing. And so Tim is trying to figure it out, and so he starts working with Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins. And so while he's in there, he's like working with his buddies, and they get involved with the Council of Spiders. And in the Council of Spiders, they're fighting them.
Okay.
In the Council of Spiders. And Tim gets impaled. And instead of them being... They have 2 options. It's either A, they're going to throw him in the pit. Or B, they have to remove his spleen and see if he survives. They go with that latter option, and they remove his spleen. And so, canonically, if we really want to talk about it, Tim does not have an immune system.
Right.
So the tag, Tim's missing spleen, is exploring the fact that, like, he comes back and he's working as Red Robin. What if he comes into a problem when he's working with the Bat Fam where all of a sudden he gets shot or something or he gets sick? He doesn't have a spleen to help his immune system.
Right.
So now that's where you add Wump into the mix, because then you can turn around and this is a traumatic experience because Tim is either A, dying, or B, we have to take care of Tim because he's been shot. So, like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, which is why in my head Damien just kills him.
Tim?
Yeah, Damien's a jerk. He would just kill him. He'd be like, oh, good, it's my time, because he's kind of a waste of space. Problem solved.
That is also a thing.
It's Damien. That's why I love him.
Damien.
He's so psychotic, and it's like, well, of course he is. Look who his mother is. And his dad is Batman. I mean, he kind of, when he's not being a psycho killer, like his mother trained him to be at 4, he's the son of Batman? Doesn't really make things better.
No.
Yeah.
But that is I forgot about that tag, and I needed to end this episode on that tag because it is so chaotically stupid.
That's hilarious.
There's also tags like we don't need a beta, we die like men, and things like that for people who don't want a beta read and edit their stories.
Oh. Yeah.
So in the next episode, we're going to actually read the fan fiction.
Yes.
I will recommend that when you're reading the fan fiction, imagine it as if you are actually like watching like a movie. Because
should I storyboard it?
If you want to storyboard it, you could.
I can't draw.
Well, it's like